Hey, how's it going? This is the only Chef Randy. I am Chef Randy. Today, first class of the new year, January 2nd, late afternoon. We're looking for a late lunch. We're gonna learn how to make potato gnocchi today. Now, most people steer away from potato gnocchi. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's also not difficult. And I'm gonna show you why. Now, for this particular recipe, you need about 3 ingredients to make the gnocchi. And then today I'm gonna be making it with red sauce, which I made last night. And that's just a traditional marinara sauce, just onions, garlic, salt, pepper, oregano, basil, that's it. And then just the trick to that is just buying quality tomatoes. Buy a quality tomato product and your marinara will come out just fine. But today we're gonna be making gnocchi. You need salt, which I'm gonna add to this flour and cheese mixture here. Flour, as I said, I use 00. You can use AP if you want. 00 is definitely the way to go if you can source it. I know here in Dallas, Whole Foods has it. You can get it on Amazon, and it's usually fairly cheap over there. Then you need Parmigiano Reggiano. Finely grated is the key because you don't want lumps in your gnocchi. And then 1 egg. So what I have here is about 1 teaspoon of salt that I just added, 1 egg, 1 cup of flour, and then a ½ cup of Parmigiano Reggiano, okay? And then I have about 3 baked potatoes here. 3 to 4 baked potatoes, depending on what size they are. You want to use russets. You don't want to use anything else other than a russet. It's less starchy, which will make a better dough, okay? So we'll get right into it here. I have 2 bowls. One is going to be for when we peel these. So you want to peel these. After you're done baking them, make sure that they're soft all the way through. And then you're going to want to refrigerate them until they're cold all the way through. It'll make peeling it a lot easier. It'll be a lot easier to get just the skin off with as little of the potato as possible, okay? I'm just gonna come in and just peel these really quickly here. Not too quickly, we don't wanna cut ourselves. You always wanna be careful. And that's another reason why you want them to be cold, is because you don't want the knife to slide right through it, just in case. All right. So you're looking for about a pound of potato, okay? And like I said, depending on the size of the potatoes, if you have gigantic potatoes, it's probably gonna be about 2. But in this case, we have medium russets, so 3 is usually the trick. 4 if you have a couple small guys in the group. All right. And we're about through here. Now, you'll see that next to me, I have a mixing bowl. If you don't have a KitchenAid, you can use your hands. I'm pretty sure that most kitchens have a KitchenAid in them nowadays. But inside of that mixing bowl, you'll see that I have a fine strainer. Now, the reason for that is because I don't have a ricer. Now, if you don't know what a ricer is, you can Google it. It's a tool that helps you take the lumps out of the mashed potatoes, if you will, because that's what we're looking for, is a nice smooth consistency. So, because I don't have a ricer, next best thing, fine strainer. All right, and I'm just gonna take these, I'm just gonna grind them back and forth and kind of smush them through. The bigger the piece, the easier it'll be. Okay, and I'm just smashing them through, and I'll show you, I'll bring you in closer when we start mixing the dough to show you what it looks like. But you really want to force all that potato through that fine strainer. Obviously, if you have a ricer, it's a lot quicker and a lot more efficient, which is what my next investment will be in, for sure, 100%. But the fine strainer does the job just fine too. Just takes, like I said, a little bit longer. And if you have the time and you want to get a little, the colder your potato is, the easier it'll be, okay? So essentially, if you want to take the time and cool your potatoes in the freezer, peel them, and then put them back in the freezer so that they're more firm, it'll be way easier to grind it through the fine strainer. I did not do that, so it's a little bit more difficult for me, but I'm a professional, so we make do. All right. And I'll tell you, I'm going to show you a little trick right here. Because it's a little bit more difficult for me to take my fingers and kind of get it through the strainer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this spoon and kind of force it through the fine strainer. This is going to be beautiful once it's finished. Let me tell you. We are moving here. Okay. You want to go on the back of this and scrape the back side so that the other potatoes can pass through freely. Ooh, got a chunk in there. Don't want the chunk. So, like I said, it's very important that your potato is a nice, fine consistency. I use a ricer at work all the time when I make mashed potatoes because it gets the lumps out. Some people like lumpy mashed potatoes, but when you're making a dough out of potato, you don't want lumps. That's the last thing that you want, because you'll have gnocchi that will have big chunks of potato in it. Not only that, but it'll be more difficult to roll out. All right. I know this seems boring, but it's a very important part of the process, okay? And just like anything else, you gotta trust the process, right? All right. All right, now that that's done, notice how I didn't swear. I'm trying to keep this kid friendly here. But you can fill in the blanks. I'm gonna get all this remnants of potato off of here because we really want all of that, considering that it's only a pound, and that's what I have that weighed out to be at. Now you can always double it, and it'll make double the amount of dough. Essentially, what this recipe is for a portion of 2 people, okay? All right, so let me bring you in on this real quick. So you can see that it is nice and fine, okay? No lumps. It's gonna make a beautiful dough. I can already tell right now, because the potatoes themselves are not very starchy. Okay, and that's because they sat overnight. The best course of action is to cook your potatoes the day before so that the starch can kind of release from the potato. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna hook this up. You wanna use a paddle, not a dough hook, contrary to popular belief. The dough hook is fine for doughs, most doughs, but not this one, okay? So I'm gonna take my egg, I'm gonna crack it right in. Okay. I'm gonna take my salt, flour, and Parmesan, and add them all in. I'm gonna crank this bad boy up. I'm gonna bring you guys in on the action here. All right. Okay. See if we can't get that so that you can see it. All right, perfect. How about that? Maybe we get a little bit closer here. All right. There we go. All right. Now I'm gonna turn it on. I'm just gonna let it mix, okay? Oh, here comes the Franny. She doesn't like loud noises. Now once the flour starts to get incorporated, now we can kick it up a little bit. You see how it's getting nice and crumbly? Eventually all that moisture will force it all to come together. There we go. See how the dough is starting to come together, and what once was small little pebble-looking flakes is now becoming larger. There we go. Now we're talking. And once it starts to come away from the bowl, just like any other dough, it's done. Now, I know right now it looks like mashed potatoes. A nice, thick, hearty, wholesome mashed potato, right? So, move that there. I'll bring you guys back up. Out. Okay, now, here we are. I'm gonna take this off. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna kind of clean my station over here a little bit. All right. Not wiping it on the floor, because I have to clean the floors. So, then you're gonna take some extra 00 flour, right? You're just gonna kind of dust it down onto your bench or working space. You're gonna take this dough. Oh, this is a good gnocchi dough, I'll tell you. And we're gonna kind of form a ball. Just smashing it together, nice and easy. And then you kind of want to throw it down on there so it doesn't stick, right? Because this is a very sticky dough, which is why I don't recommend you use your hands. We're going to add that dough to the outside. We're going to add that flour to the outside. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut it into about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch kind of slabs, okay? You know, one might be shy, and some of them are going to be smaller. So I'm going to take these 1/2 inch slabs, as you can see, and I'm going to cut them right down the middle. All right. And then, all right. Now, what you want to do is you want to get a sheet pan, put some foil on it, all right? Dust it with some flour. I'm going to put a little bit more on that one, because you don't want them sticking together when you're finished with them, okay? Now, you don't want to dust the area that you're going to roll these in, okay? But you want to keep some flour off to the side for when you're done rolling them, because when we're done rolling them, what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle some flour over the top of it and then kind of roll them in flour so that they don't stick to each other, so that we can cut more than one roll at a time, okay? Now, very important. This is how you start it out, okay? W, okay? You're going to put your thumbs, the middle of the W, in the middle, and then even pressure, slowly work it out, okay? Now you can make your gnocchis as thick as you want. We usually go by the standard of a Sharpie, okay? So this one's already there because it was a smaller one. I like to tuck my ends in. You can cut the ends off and just discard them, but I like to tuck them in because waste not, want not, right? All right, so this is what you're looking for. Okay, kind of even, nice, all the way around. These are beautiful, by the way. This is a great dough. You're just gonna kind of roll it in the flour. It's okay if it seems like it's a little much. That's kind of what you want, okay? And then I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna use one hand because it's a little smaller. And then, like I said again, even pressure. You're just working you're working the dough out, okay? So you're just gonna easily roll it. You don't wanna be too rough with it, but you also don't wanna be too gentle, because then it won't roll out. I'm gonna tuck them in on the sides here, okay? And roll it in the flour, and then boom, it's done. Now, I'm gonna do these really quickly. I've rolled a lot of gnocchi in my day, so I'm pretty proficient at it. There we good. Very good. Here we go. This is a great dough, so it makes it real easy when the dough is good, when it's nice and stiff, okay? Notice how I'm just kind of rolling it in the flour and then moving it off to the side for later. And you don't want too much flour on the station that you're rolling in, because you want the surface that you're rolling it in to be a little bit tacky so that it sticks, so that you can roll it, okay? Pretty simple stuff here. Now people are afraid of it because gnocchi can go horribly wrong. For instance, you want to bake your potatoes, like I said in the beginning. If you boil your potatoes, your dough, you can add flour to it and add flour to it and add flour to it, and it will not work. The reason for that is because potato is a vegetable. Vegetables are made up of water. What do we not want in our dough? Water. And once potatoes are cooked, they keep emitting water, okay? As they cool, they emit water. But they can't emit all the water if you boil them, because they were taking on water as they were cooking, okay? So, very important that you roast it with the skin on. Some people roast them in salt, an obscene amount of salt. I don't recommend that. I mean, it takes a lot of the moisture out of the potato. You can do that. It's okay, but I honestly don't think it makes a difference whether you use salt or not when you bake them. Okay. Okay. We got one more going here. Now, this is my favorite part. Is when you're done cutting them up. And I don't know why I like doing it so much, but I do. Okay, so we're gonna line them up end to end. I usually do about 3. If you're doing it and you're a first timer, I highly recommend you just do 1 at a time. Now what we're looking for is one knuckle. 1 knuckle on your index finger, that's the size you're looking for, okay? So you just measure it out, whoop. Now, we're gonna take these beauties, all right, and we are going to toss them in a little bit of flour so that they stay apart from each other, okay? I'm gonna cut these up, and I'll show you one more time, okay? Like again, 1 knuckle deep on your index finger. Here we go. They're all pretty uniform here. Now, I'm not gonna cut the rest because that'll take time. And check it out. TV magic. When you're done with these, the best course of action is to throw them in your freezer. Make room in your freezer, okay? If you don't have room in your freezer, you can throw them in your fridge. That's fine too, but just get them cold before you cook them. I have boiling water already. Well, semi-boiling water. It's come up to a boil and then I turn it down, so everything will be fine. So I'm gonna move you guys over to here. All right. Now, I got my boiling water salted, okay? My boiling water is salted and we are looking good, okay? It's gonna come up to a boil. Here's my red sauce. It's already a little hot. We're gonna turn that up a little bit. And like I said, you want your gnocchi to be cold, at least. The reasoning for that is so that it doesn't fall apart, okay? If you make a good dough, it shouldn't fall apart anyway, but this kind of just prohibits it from falling apart, so that's good. And like I said, the red sauce, comment, and we'll do a class for that as well. Once this comes up to a boil, I'm gonna throw these in. They won't take long. As soon as they start to float, they're done. You can pull them out with a strainer. You can dump them with a strainer. You can dump them into a strainer or pull them out with a little handy tool like that, which is what I like to do. And then they can go right into the sauce, okay? And we'll show you that in just 1 second. We're just waiting for this to come back up. All right, cool. And Throw those in ever so gently. I don't want to pour the last little bit in because I don't want to pour all that flour in there. Now, traditionally, gnocchi is done with marinara. You can also do gnocchi with pesto. You can also do gnocchi with butter and cheese. You can also do gnocchi with an Alfredo. Authentic Alfredo is what I prefer, but you can do it with an Americanized Alfredo, which is just adding cream. You can do it with a number of sauces. I choose to be traditional, and I like to think I make a pretty good red sauce. So, while these are cooking, you're going to notice that you're going to want to stir them so that they don't stick together. Okay? Very important that your water is boiling when you dump it in there, especially if they're frozen, because the frozen gnocchi will get the temperature of the water and bring it downwards. And depending on what kind of stove you have, it could take a while for it to come back up. But this stove is pretty decent, so I imagine these will start popping up within 30 seconds. So I'm going to get this nice and hot, nice and piping hot. All right. And now we're just waiting for water to boil. While we're at that, if you're watching this, you like what you see, shoot me some ideas. Some things that you want to see me cook, some things that you want to learn how to cook. By all means, let me know. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Dallas Metroplex, and you want some in-house cooking lessons, let me know. I do those as well. You know, you just want to have a girls' or a guys' night in, or you want to get your kids off of the devices for a couple hours. I am a certified culinary arts teacher. Franny just grabbed one of the gnocchi rolls. She's crazy. That's going to be good, hon. So, here we are. They're starting to pop up a little bit here. So once they start to pop up, I'll wait until, you know, a couple, you want to see like 10 or 12 pop up, and then you'll be good to go. This sauce is perfect. I'm going to give this a little taste here. And it's okay. Ooh, that's good. Always good the second day. Always much better the second day. And it's okay if it's a little thick, if you let it cook down a little bit, because the water, there's going to be a little residual water on the gnocchi when you pull them out again. So, I'm going to start pulling these out. Perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Nice. Here we go. Here we go. Want to make sure I get all of them because I'm hungry. All right. Now, take this. Let's give it a little tossy. Don't go too crazy with the toss, especially with red sauce in there. And now plating is just simple, okay? You're just going to take these gnocchis right into the center of the bowl. God, this is going to be good. It smells delicious. I wish you guys were here to smell it. Oh, yeah. Perfect. That's a good dough. So, like I said, 1 cup of flour, 1 egg, half a cup of Parmesan, 1 teaspoon of salt, and a pound of potatoes. And you two, oh man, she just ate all of those gnocchi while my back was turned. And you two can have a beautiful bowl of gnocchi right here. Take all that sauce in there. And then a little bit of fresh grated Parmigiano Reggiano. Don't want to grind the rind. Ooh, look at that. And there you have it. Beautiful. So hopefully I see you next time. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's see what your ideas are. And I'll see you again. Stay blessed. The Only Chef Randy coming at you.